All right, well, it's 8 o'clock. We can just go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another Digital Coats of Paint. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the ClickFuel dashboard. Several of you have campaigns running right now, and you may have visited this and talked about it with your customers. But if not, we just kind of want to give a quick run through of some of the features of the dashboard, and then talk about a few of the campaigns that are currently running and break it down a little bit further. So we're going to talk a little bit about ones we're running, social media, PPC, SEO. So let's see, let's get to the next screen for the actual breakdown. So again, we're going to go through a quick review of the dashboard, and then the examples of active campaigns. We're going to talk about the Livonia Soccer Club, which Michelle Palmieri is working with, doing a terrific job. And they've been running some Facebook advertising and email blasts, so we'll show you on the dashboard itself what that looks like from the customer end. Also, Bork Jennings is running PPC and social media, and Brett's going to talk about that business, as well as Amco, who is running SEO, which is different. There's more information there. And then we'll have an open discussion. So if you have any questions or any comments, we will open the door wide, and you can ask away. So without further ado, let me get to the dashboard itself. And Brett and I have access to an administrative dashboard, so we can actually see all of the campaigns that are actively going. And so from that point, we can actually log on to the individual dashboards. So this is sort of like what the ClickFuel dashboard looks like from our end initially. I'm going to log on as a client so you can see what the client sees when they log in. So hopefully you all have links as well to the ClickFuel. If not, let us know. We will make sure that we get that information over to you. So let me log on to the Livonia Soccer Club. Now I am on the Livonia City Soccer Club dashboard right now. And as you can see, when we start off in these dashboards, just going across the top, it's broken down by campaigns, leads, and traffic. Leads will be, and we'll show you that in a minute with PPC. That's going to play an important part. Then underneath, we've got, under the campaigns, it's broken down by the tabs of the particular program that the customer is running. So, for example, if indeed here they're running social media ads on Facebook as well as email. So you can see that those tabs are a little bit lighter gray. They're basically active. The ones that are darker gray are not active. So this is a good example when we're showing our customers that one, they, let's say they started a PPC campaign, then that tab would actually go into that lighter gray and also be active. Again, it just illustrates our one-stop shopping, so to speak, for all these analytics. It's just making it easier for our customers to find the information they need. So underneath that, you've got just some basic, well, I should say, let me go back. It automatically sets to a 30-day period. You can go using these three buttons here. You can either create a 7-day range or a 90-day range, or you can customize it yourself. If you click on that actual date button, you'll see here you can actually set up your own date parameters. So if a customer is going back for a whole year, you can go back a whole year. But you've got a couple quick set buttons here, 7, 30, 90. So I'm just going to hit the 90-day range since this one started just within the 90 days. And so you can see it sets back 5/15/15 to 8/13/15. So it's going to use, current dates. Underneath here, you can see you can add some group information to it. In this case, it's just social ad campaign. It's nothing I would really worry about at this point. Just to go in quick overview with your customer. Social ads are running, the social ad campaign. This just gives you basically the brief overview of how many impressions have been served, how many clicks they've received from that, and then a brief click-through rate. There's more information available, and we'll go into that here in just a moment. By clicking on, again, this is under the All tab, so this is going to show you everything that's running for this particular customer at a specific moment. So let's just go to the social ads where the information is going to break down even a little bit further. So again, they're running Facebook ads, and this will show you, again, it'll break down the number of impressions. So 71,328, you've got 738 clicks, and it's a 1.303% click-through rate. This will also break down for you, this graph shows you the kind of activity they're seeing on a day-to-day basis. It's going to show you how many impressions are being served right now on a day-to-day basis. So if you're kind of curious, like what days are getting a little bit more, like here, 7/26, they had 1,845 impressions served. It also kind of gives you a good illustration of, you know, they are being served in a pretty consistent manner. There's a few days that are a little bit less, but on the whole, it's pretty consistent. There's no real deep valleys here in the serving. Down below that, there's also some results details here. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Here you can see the number of page likes that they've received since the campaign started. And then under actions, I can send out later a kind of a breakdown, a JPEG of some breakdown of you know, what these terms mean. But actions can be anything from liking a post to, oh, I'm sorry about that. Sorry, wrong button was hit. It could be anything from liking a post to, sorry, I lost my date range here. From liking a post to even sharing a post. So 427 actions have been a result from this Facebook advertising campaign. That's awesome. I mean, that's really good information to share with a customer, because that means that it's working. You know, social media is about sharing information, and this is a great example of how things are, you know, given approval by the social community as well as shared. Okay. Whoa, somebody just dropped something. Hope everyone's okay out there. Heard a boom. So again, and this just kind of reiterates the number of impressions, the click-throughs, and the actions taken, the number of page likes, and the offers. So this just is kind of a brief dashboard to show our customers, you know, that this campaign is actually working. Under the email blast, well, let me go back here. You can also create a summary to give to your customers under the Create Summary button here. And in this case, I'm just going to choose a PDF. And once it opens, you can make a copy of this and send this to your customer, or go over it with them in person. It's a great way to show this in a nice graphic format. You could probably even cut and paste it if you wanted to on a presentation. Okay. Breaks it down by the months, breaks it down by the impressions, and the click-through. Again, we're trying to provide some transparency to help our customers see the return on their investment. Okay. I'm just going to go quickly through the email tab as well. It's broken down the same way. It'll show you the number of emails that are sent. It will tell you the number of opens that received and the number of click-throughs. So in this case, 10,000 emails were sent. We had 1,491 opens for a 14.91% open rate, which is above the average that Geo had provided. So this performed pretty well in terms of open. The clicks were 132. So the click-throughs after the open was 1.32%, which is pretty much in the medium, in the middle of the expected click-through rate for a campaign similar to this. So again, we can go through that information with the customer, create a summary to show them this information as well. So it does that nice PDF in a professional-looking manner. And because this is a email blast, you're going to see the most activity, really that quick peak on the day that it goes out, maybe a little bit around that time period frame, which you can see, but it's going to definitely be more of a peak. And then just breaks it down with some graphs to show your customer. And again, these are things that you could even, using either the clipping tool or just, printing this out, you can provide to the customer, whether in a presentation or this itself. So that's just kind of a breakdown of what the information would look like on a customer side. And Brett, I'm going to let you kind of take over here. I know you've got a couple examples of PPC and SEO to go over.
Yeah.
Are there any questions before I switch over to Brett?
I think we're good right now, probably.
We're good. All right, Brett, I'm giving it to you.
Okay.
Which I think you should be able to take it over. to give you permission to take it over. If not, I'll just stop presenting.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Are you still seeing my screen, I guess is the question.
Yeah, let me do this. Hold on
All
one
right.
second.
I'll just stop presenting and let you take it over then. There you go.
Let me know when you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Just a minute. There you are. You are front and center.
Okay. Okay, so as Scott went over social, I'm going to kind of just go over and kind of not reiterate, but I'm just going to show you kind of what our dashboard looks like for Borg Jennings or a funeral home. Their campaign went live, I believe 5/2. So I'm actually just going to go back here and click May 2nd. Okay, so this is what we've had so far since May. But I want to say something that Scott, you kind of left out, which is fine. And we kind of forget sometimes. There's a couple day lag with the reporting dashboard on social, on Facebook advertising. So if you see this and you're looking up maybe the last week, whatever, it's not going to show. Typically, it's not going to show the last 2 to 3 days because there is a lag there. And then also sometimes ClickFuel might be a little glitchy, so sometimes you might see big gaps in some of the days. Let's say like a week or two that might be missing, or ones that might if you see anything more than 2 or 3 days missing from your current date, just want to either talk to Scott or myself or one of the account managers that's managing the campaign, as ClickFuel sometimes tends to be glitchy, and it tends to leave out some information sometimes. So if you ever suspect that anything like that happens, then you definitely want to talk with your account manager, because I've had to do it a couple times, and so but anything less, or if it's up to 2 or 3 days, and it's just going to be the glitch or the lag that's in the social reporting. But anything more than that, you might want to double check with the account manager and make sure you're having accurate reporting on ClickFuel. Were you going to say something?
Brett, if I can add to that, Brett, then also too, when a campaign starts, particularly PPC, it seems that it can take up to 3 weeks, sometimes a month, to really get those impressions up and showing. So just kind of set that expectation with your customers. Let them know that even if it's going to take a little time for that dashboard to show the results from the get-go. I know email blasts might be a little bit shorter time period. I think I've seen it around 2 weeks, sometimes a little less. But just be aware that it does take some time to get those stats up and going. So Thanks, Brett.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. All right, so this is, since Scott already went over social, I'm going to go over PPC. So you have 2 tabs here. So actually the first tab up underneath campaigns, it's going to be SEM for search engine marketing. You have 2 tabs underneath that, which is going to be the Bing and Yahoo reporting dashboard, and then you're going to have the Google reporting dashboard. So the Bing and Yahoo one is open right now, so it's going to break everything down by impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and average keyword position. They're both going to be similar, or pretty much exactly the same as far as the Bing and Yahoo versus the Google dashboard. You're going to be getting underneath your at-a-glance metrics. You're also going to be getting, on the side to the right of that, you're going to be getting kind of a snapshot of the clicks per day, going past since whatever months that you have highlighted from right now. I think we had started in May, so this is going from June to up to date right now. So in Bing and Yahoo, we can see that on the average, that we've been getting around 2,000. We're still in August right now, so we still have some more data to collect until it's over. But right here is the clicks per day. Shows you from 6.3 up to 8.4. How many clicks we've had on a percentage basis, and what they've moved. How they've moved over that time frame. Underneath that, we have a little bit more of the campaign click-through rate. So it shows the click-through rate. how many ad impressions were out there versus the ads that have actually been clicked on, and it shows you that in a comparison graph with the click-through rate. So it's going to show you the top performing keywords right here. You can see the top 5. So we have Bork Jennings Funeral Home has been the top performing keywords for Bing and Yahoo, Howell Funeral Home, and Jackson Funeral Home. So it shows you, it breaks it out by clicks. Right here is campaign details. For the keywords, it'll actually show you the impressions, the total, the clicks total, click-through rate, but you can click underneath keywords. It says 52. It's kind of, when I first got into the reporting dashboard with ClickFuel, I didn't really even know that you could click this, and this is actually really important underneath keywords because it's just a number that's highlighted, and it doesn't look like you can really click on it when you're first glancing through here. But you want to click on this because it shows you the keywords that are being used for your PPC campaign and how they've been performing. So again, this is for Bing and Yahoo. We have impressions, and this shows you the graph since 6/3 to 8/08, how many impressions have come through this. And down here you have the tabs that shows you the amount of pages that you can scroll through for the keywords that are showing up that we're actually using for the campaign. So it shows, it breaks it out by the keyword impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and then average position that it's getting on Bing and Yahoo. So you can just go through here, and anytime that your client has a question about what exactly are the keywords that we're using in our campaigns, you can actually go back here and gather empirical data about what specific keywords we are using. And so this is also good too, as far as if he's saying, well, I'm doing a search and I'm not finding my ad come up for a particular search. It might be because the keywords, they have not included that particular keyword in the in the ad groups or in the campaign. And sometimes you might want to talk to your account manager to adjust and to add or remove keywords within the campaign. And we get a 45-day renewal for the campaign, so we can actually request that every 45 days to come in for if you want to add or remove keywords for that. And if something's an immediate concern, like, well, I'm not showing up in this location, or I had originally agreed upon to show up for this keyword in this location, and you'd already talked previously to your account manager, then they'll just automatically they'll end up sending those keywords over to the team and not even really discussing about the campaign details as far as what other objectives that needs to be, I guess, improved upon or highlighted at that point. So right here, the ad details, you can click on these to see what the ads look like, for each of the individual campaigns that are running with these keywords. So, like this one was for the local funeral home. You can see what that looks like, and you actually, you can just kind of screenshot that if you want, and you can give these to your client if they desire, if they are wanting to see what the copy looks like. And obviously you can scroll down, there's multiple pages on this tab too. But I wanted to go up and show you the difference between Bing and Yahoo versus Google. Google has 70% of the market share as far as when search volume is concerned and searches, and people actually use the search engine. So you're going to get way more impressions and exposure on Google than you will Bing and Yahoo. So let's say July last year on Bing and Yahoo, we had 1,753 impressions and 25 clicks. We're gonna look at Google real quick. 32,000 impressions, 503 is there for the impressions in July. 278 clicks, and then the click-through rate is averaging out. So we're wanting to what we want to do is we want to get the click-through rate to be performing better over time, so more people are actually clicking through versus the impressions that are coming out there. You want to have more clicks coming through, obviously through your AdWords campaigns and through your PPC campaigns. So it shows you the click-through rate summary on what's going on. And sometimes you'll have spikes back here. I've asked the account managers on what actually happens, and sometimes you get an account manager that will tell you, well, this is the reason why we might have had more impressions this time because we tried a strategy change. But most of the times, they're not going to give you detailed information. They have to check back with optimization teams about what's actually going on. And usually it's probably when a campaign, when it switches over and they change something creatively, or they change, they might optimize or do something different with the keywords. And it'll usually just kind of, go out over time. It'll actually average out over time. So once you see those and, those spikes, don't be aware or don't be concerned on necessarily on anything. It's just that it's just as kind of part and parcel for what happens in optimization. So in the Google tab for the reporting dashboard, we have something else called content, and so what that is going to be the content network, the Google Display Network. The content says right here, and you can actually click on these things to see more what the explanation is. Right here, what the content says, the content you are seeing is referring to a placement from the display network. It is not specifying the placement, but leaving content instead to let you know the statistics are for a placement rather than a keyword. So it's going to be like that. It looks similar to a PPC ad basically, but it's just on a website that's going to be out there. It's not going to come up in a search engine, but it's actually going to be placed on a website that are relevant. Google has its algorithm on what they call AdSense that goes out there and basically is just it fills out it looks at a particular website, and if it's relevant to what the advertiser is about and what the campaign's about, they'll actually put that on the website. So in this case, anything to do with deaths, funeral home, anything in that industry, somebody's looking up anything on any other sites for that particular content, that ad will show up in the content network, and it'll show up on those particular websites. So I asked the account manager when I first started running the PPC campaigns about the content network, and they say that you'll get a lot of clicks. Primarily, you'll get more clicks on the content network versus the actual PPC ads that are out there, just because of the sheer volume of impressions that are out there with all the websites. And since we're geo-targeting PPC in this instance, and pretty much any instance, unless you're working with like a national campaign, you're going to get more exposure because that's going past just your geo-targets for those keywords that we're focusing on. So the content network, that's what that's about. And then obviously it just works out like Bing and Yahoo with the reporting here on what the keywords, the top performing keywords are within this campaign on Google. So it works just the same way. You can go into the campaign details and look up the keywords, and it'll show you since from 6/3 to now, just the same thing I showed you in the Bing and Yahoo reporting dashboard. It'll show you primarily the content, so you can see there's way more impressions on the content network for Google. There's 62,604, and then we're going to have, obviously more clicks. Now you can see the click-through rate is lower, but that's, we're getting more clicks, but that's just because of the sheer amount of impressions that's going out in the content network. And then you can see the click-through rate versus on the actual PPC ads right here. So Bork Jennings Funeral Home, somebody's actually typed that in and searched for that in the in a search engine on Google. So you can see that this is an exact keyword that somebody's looking for because they're looking for that exact funeral home. So we included that in there. The average position there is going to be 1.15. So that's actually, going to be pretty much the first position. Maybe going to the second position once in a while, but we're pretty much dominating in those geo areas that we want to be dominating for. The click-through rate is at almost 18%. I mean, that's huge, but it's because it's such a specific keyword. Funeral home in Brooklyn, Michigan. I mean, impressions 34. We've got 13 clicks. I mean, 38%. A 38% click-through rate. I mean, that's huge. So it's all relative to how well the ads are built, and we've had this been going for several months now. So you can see we're getting into the real mature stages of a PPC campaign, and we can see kind of the fruits of the labor that's been going through with the optimization team. We've actually had to go back in here, and there are some there were some locations that were not included. So some of the locations, we're targeting 3 areas with this particular campaign. So one of the areas that was not included were particular, we had to go back in there and actually request certain what they call geo modifiers. They basically just assign a location to a particular keyword. And that's what we had to do for this, because we were not finding that our ads were showing up for when we were searching for instance, a funeral home in Brooklyn, Michigan. We wanted to add Brooklyn, Michigan as a geo modifier for that keyword that said funeral home in there. So, we included those in there, and that was something that we had originally discussed with the account manager, and he went ahead and put that in immediately, since we'd already discussed them. For some reason, they did not include some of those keywords and those geo modifiers. So that's the thing. You just want to come back here and check.
Well, Brett.
Yep, go ahead, Scott.
Oh, you bring up an awesome point here, guys, that it's really important that you get into the campaigns and take a look at them as well as us to find out those things. So when you see something that, is missing, or you have a question about a keyword or an ad group, then you can discuss with us, and we can reach out to the manager over at Geo. So I think it's really important. That's why we got these dashboards, to review things, to make sure it's performing the way it should.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent point, Scott. I mean, yeah, you definitely want to review and come back in here. And then, like I said, a client might say, "Hey, I'm not seeing, I'm not seeing my ad show up, or I'm not seeing, I'm searching for, funeral homes and whatever." Go back in here and actually look through each one of these keywords and see what are we using, what are we not using, and then you can then talk to client and say, well, what keywords do we want specifically in here? We can talk to the account manager and see if they can be included. They'll give recommendations that'll come back from the team, and sometimes like I said, if it's something that already had been discussed in the onboard call between the account manager and us, and they didn't include that, and sometimes that happens. Just tell them, hey, I thought we had these keywords going out for this location, or that we were supposed to be focusing on these segments, and they'll say, oh yeah, well yeah, you're right. I'm gonna put that into the team, and we'll get that done immediately. And I've actually had to do that a couple of times, where that's happened. So right here is with Google, they have ad group details. So in Google, they actually segregate the keywords into specific groups, and they're called ad groups. So you can see anything that's related keyword-wise to funeral home. We have 31 keywords in that ad group. So it just basically segregates all the keywords into an ad group. So anything related to funeral home, you can go back here and you can check them out and see what we're running for this particular ad group, for this particular funeral home campaign. So everything back down here, ad details. Again, these are just kind of what we had saw, with Yahoo and Bing, as far as what they look like. These are just more reports on the keyword details, the ad groups. I'm trying to look at the creative that's here. Not sure if that's. Let's see. Thought that we had the creative back here. I thought it was actually down here, but might be just for Bing and Yahoo. But I thought that we did have the creative back here, but I'll have to check into that. Anyways, it just gives you more. It gives you more details on what's going on with the. Here it is. Is that text ad? anyways, it just gives you more
It's
information.
it's also another example, Brad, that, team getting in here and just, you know, doing some just clicking on something. I mean, doing some research on your own too, playing around with this will also help you understand it as you're going along as well. So,
Right.
don't be afraid to get in here and click on some buttons. There's as Brad showed, there's little magnifying glasses if you have questions on certain areas. And also regarding the content part, Brad, I think we can find an example to maybe send a screenshot out to everybody if they weren't clear on what you meant by those ads serving under content. So we'll try and find a screenshot to show you guys an example of that.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. So I know we're gonna move quicker. We're kind of going over time. I'm just gonna go really quickly over SEO. We have one going for AMCO. Let's see. I'm actually gonna have to get the password here. It always doesn't have me always remember it. Okay, so this is going to be a snapshot from 5:15, but actually I wanted to kind of go back a little bit further than that. Let's see, I think actually, you know what? Let's go back to January. This actually, we have been running SEO with AMCO since I think the quarter 4 at some point from last year. And then they renewed the contract just in June. So this is what's going to show you back here with the reporting dashboard. Let me see. Hopefully that this is actually going to get the correct. Sometimes, when I was just talking to Scott about this last night, sometimes when you come back here, at least with this particular case, I had some back end stuff that we needed to take care of. When you click from organic to all, first, organic means all the traffic that's come in through organic search. So we're not talking about paid traffic. We're not talking about referral traffic from Facebook or any ads from any display or anything like that. Organic means it basically means any traffic that's come in through a search engine that has happened over a certain period of time, and all means everything. And now we were just talking about this, Scott, where this doesn't. I have you typically up here. This is where this is the UTM code that actually they put into analytics. And with this particular instance, without getting too detailed, we had an issue where we had multiple codes. So this is actually the correct section here is just the AMCO without the numbers. And so without making you guys confused, it keeps going back to what it originally had in the system. And it's not showing up 100% right now. I got to refresh this. We had some issues on the back end with that. It was kind of an anomaly, actually. It wasn't something that had that you typically get that you get with an SEO campaign. It just happened with us, and it's still kind of
a suggestion for this is if you do sell an SEO campaign and you have questions out the dashboard, this is the part where you probably want to come see Brett and go over this, and we can work through it together. So again, this understanding that SEO is kind of a different beast, and we'll be able to help you out with that. Okay.
It's not showing up. I'm going to have to talk to you. This is one of the things where I'm going to have to talk to the account manager about this, because this is not reflecting back here that the difference between organic. It's just showing, okay, maybe that's, okay, there goes. Okay, so the organic right here, it's finicky, at least with this particular account, because we had multiple things happen on the back end. This is not something normally you're gonna run into with SEO and your reporting dashboard. We just had some anomalies setting this up initially, but It's pretty much adjusted now, but I might have to talk to the account manager about the reports back here. But if you have a suspicion, or actually anytime you get into SEO, you might just want to talk to Scott or I and see if the ClickFuel reporting is actually accurate. And that's all you have to do. And that, they'll give you that reports, when you're a couple weeks in after they've, set it live. But basically, the organic meaning that, these are traffic coming in from your search marketing or from your SEO campaigns. These are actually people who are landing on, that are coming in from search engines, not paid, not displayed, just the normal organic search results, that search engine optimization is all about. So, and then the all meaning the total visits that is coming in from all sources, So it'll show you the visits, it'll show you the page views, and it'll show you a percentage of new visits, bounce rate, meaning someone who basically gets on your website and immediately bounces somewhere else or leaves the web page or the website. So you actually want to have that as low as possible or lower, because you want people to stay on, your website. You don't want them bouncing off. So the higher that number is, the more likely that people are not finding the information they're looking for and actually leaving your website. Shows you the percentage of organic versus total traffic. So 12% here is the percentage of organic traffic that's been coming in versus total traffic. I know we've been running display campaigns, and we've been doing some other things with them, and they've also been doing things. So you can see that versus organic versus total. Average visit duration on the website, and then pages per visit. Average pages, so about 3 pages per visit. People are going on our website. And then also right here we have the top keywords. That means basically, let me just highlight that. Top keywords, best performing keyword rankings. A lower number indicates a position closer to the top of the search results. So for transmission leak repair cost in Howell, Michigan, that's number 1 on Google. Transmission leak repair cost in Howell, that's number 1 on Yahoo, and it's same for number 1 on Bing. So those are one of the keywords that we actually focused on. The keyword rankings right here shows you the rankings report. These are all the keywords that we've been that we've selected for the campaign that we've been running. So you can come back here and see which search engine is ranking, which is ranking in each search engine. So for instance, Amco transmission rebuild cost in Howell, Michigan. The initial rank right here. So let's see with I just segmented everything from the top to bottom. Let me see. So and that's what you can do too. You can sort columns up right here. I'll just take this one then. Anti-lock brake repair shops in Howell, Michigan. Initial rank was off the chart. So basically they weren't showing up at all once we started for that particular keyword, and now June, July, August, that's where they're showing right now. So it just shows you the rankings basically for the keywords, and you're gonna have to sort these columns, and we'll have Scott and I will talk to you more about this, and we can actually go through this. We're just giving you a snapshot of what the reporting dashboard looks like. And then we'll have the overall trend for certain keywords, that have been performing with Google, Yahoo, and MSN. Remember, SEO takes a while to get going. So, I mean, you can have some keywords that you're focusing on that can, gain rankings pretty quickly, and then you have other ones that's going to take a while. But the team will actually give you recommendations on what keywords will actually be beneficial to your website. And then we're also going to send out more. We're going to send out a document that shows what everything means and how to actually understand all these metrics and columns. After this webinar, we'll show you. We'll give you a document, or we can actually walk you through it at some point. I know, Scott, that we were talking about sending that document out, but I don't know if we're going to do that afterward, right after this webinar? Or
Yeah, we might end up cleaning it up a little bit just to make sure you guys have all the information. But again, we're trying to give you guys a brief overview. I know we've gone into some more details. We're running a little bit over. It's about 8:40 right now, so we're going to wrap this up in a minute or two. But we really want you guys to get in and learn a little bit more about the dashboard. It's really important that when you're discussing with your customers, you have at least a familiarity with the layout and with some of the statistics. And again, SEO is a little bit more detail, and we would be able to walk through with that I guess what I'm saying is when we get to that point, we'll definitely walk through it together, but we wanted to at least show you what it's going to look like when you get into ClickFuel. And this is also, we can revisit this as well. I know we're doing SEO training, and so perhaps one of our future sessions on SEO will delve more into the reporting dashboard and get some more information on that. So
right, yeah, we'll definitely talk more.
Brett, I'm looking on the conversation dashboard. I don't see any questions, but this is the time. If you guys have some questions for us or any comments, feedback, anything you want to share, this is the open time for it.
Well, Scott, one last thing that I want to make sure that I talk to people about that I forgot about was in PPC. There's the leads section up here that I totally forgot to talk about.
Oh, right. That is, that's an important one. Yeah.
So when PPC, you're going to have, in the regular tab, you're going to have the campaigns. It's going to show you the impressions and stuff that you're getting on Bing and Yahoo and those reporting dashboards. But remember, with PPC, we also have the call tracking, and we also have that dashboard to where we can see the leads coming in, and we can see what phone calls have happened, when. It also shows you, the dates, and you can actually go back in here and put notes in, or the client can come back in here and put notes in about a lead, where they've come from and whatnot. You can also listen to the phone recording as that, they set up that call tracking, and then they have that phone recording service that they provide. I would just say that if you are having a PPC, running a PPC campaign, that you want to come back here and check out to see how this is actually operating, because and I'm just giving you a heads up, when we first started with this, we had some lag time with the prompt that was happening. Is when somebody first calls the service and it says your voicemail may be recorded for quality assistance, there was some lag time, so they actually had to cut that down a little bit, and then just to make sure that everything was being redirected properly to the right call tracking number, you might just want to go back in there and see how the what the customer is actually, if they're coming in for that specific reason that they clicked on the ad for. So, and that's another way to understand if there's correlation between if the ads are running, what the ads are running, and what the customer is looking for by listening to their phone calls. And if you're in the health industry, obviously they're not going to be able to record those because of the HIPAA regulations, but anything else, you can go back there and you can listen to the phone recordings and make sure that that whole section is being taken care of and running smoothly. So and that part's the important part too. I mean, that's especially with PPC campaigns, that's why we have a landing page. That's why we suggest the tracking. This is important stuff. But again, if you have questions on it, we would be happy to sit down with you and walk through this. Particularly if this is your first, if you sign up a pay-per-click campaign and it's your first time on the dashboard, come see Brett or I. Please reach out to us. So at this point, Brett, again, I don't see any questions coming up here. Folks, if you do have questions, feel free to email us afterward. As we mentioned, we will put together some information to email out to you. It may not be today, it might be tomorrow afternoon, or by tomorrow afternoon, but regardless, we will get information out to you, especially like definitions of breaking down when you're on there. Brett, anything else? What do you think? We all set for this session? Yeah, I think so. If nobody has any questions, then we can kind of call it, wrap it up here. So
call it a. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate your patience and your getting on board this. Have an awesome day, and again, reach out if you have any questions. See you later.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.